Former president did something he rarely does and expressed regret only. His regret was about vacating the White House after he lost the 2020 election.
Thank you very much. We had the safest border in the history of our country the day that I left. I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly, because we did so well.
So, Mr. Trump apparently now wishes he had just claimed squatters' rights in the executive mansion. This after he actually made an attempt to retain power despite the deadly January 6, 2021 Capitol attack spurred in part by his election lies. Peaceful transfer of power be damned. Now Mr. Trump resorting to more baseless election lies in hopes that it will help him get him back into the White House, presumably. At the same time, he has been escalating violent sounding rhetoric in the wake of 2 assassination attempts on his own life, thankfully unsuccessful. Trump suggested that he wouldn't mind a gunman trying to get to him if they were shooting through one particular group of people.
And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, because I don't mind that.
The Trump campaign communications director, Stephen Chung, quickly tried to clean up that statement. He said, quote, "The president's statement about protective glass placement has nothing to do with the media being harmed. Trump was stating that the media was in danger and that they were protecting him and therefore were in a great danger himself and should have had a glass protective shield. Also, there can be no other interpretation of what was said," unquote. Oh, I don't know about that, Stephen. There's another possible interpretation. Trump, whether joking or not, maybe was suggesting that he would be okay with members of the free press being shot, being his human shields. Maybe that's a different interpretation. Let's discuss with David Urban and Van Jones. David, of all things Donald Trump could be saying, why is he closing like this? I know that wouldn't be how you would advise him to be closing.
When do I get an easy segment, Jake Tapper? when do I get an easy one, right? So listen, obviously that's not the way you want to close. You want to stand up there and say, listen, people of Pennsylvania, people of Lidditz, Lancaster County, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? Yes. No, we are not. Right? That's what you want to hear. That's the kind of chant you want to hear. You should say, hey, Bob Casey, if I'm so unpopular, why are you still running commercials with me in it the day before the election? Those are the kind of things you want to highlight. She broke it. I'm going to fix it. That's what you want to talk about. Yeah, I don't want to be on here having to make up, and Stephen Chung couldn't even spin that one, right?
No, that was...
Listen, it's regrettable. He shouldn't have said it. Stick to the message. The ads are great. The messaging is clear. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? No. We're going to make things better, put me back in power. That's what you're talking about.
4 years ago, we were in the throes of COVID.
Well, not in the throes of the pandemic.
But 5 years ago, maybe.
But by the way, I don't mind. I like the Biden. At least the Biden's authentic, right? Joe Biden's authentic who he is, right? Like, I didn't mind it.
It turned out, well, I'm sure you didn't mind it. Van, how do you see these two closing? Because honestly, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or when all the votes are counted, et cetera. But Trump doesn't sound like he's closing strong. That's just a take.
Look, I don't know what Trump is doing. If he decided, I want to lose this election, I'm going to do everything I can to lose it, he could come up with better stuff to say. I mean, he might be in some kind of nightmare. He's trying to let us know he doesn't want the job. But I'd rather talk about Kamala Harris. And the closing that she's doing, I think, is positive for the country. Everybody says be negative at the end, close strong, negative works better than positive. She's choosing to be positive. I think that's important. But what we're discovering at the grassroots level is that there are some arguments against Trump that haven't yet been made. If you're trying to get young black guys in the streets of Philadelphia to vote, tell them that Donald Trump is going to make every cop do stop and frisk, which he's committed to do, wants complete immunity and amnesty for every cop, no matter what they do, and that he's going to federalize petty street crime. The Trump crackdown, that argument is a tough argument against Trump. She's not making it, but grassroots people are making it. There are arguments that can be made to move Jewish voters that are tough arguments on Trump for having picked J.D. Vance, who actually voted against aid for Israel. Those arguments are resonating in the Philly suburbs. These are tough arguments against Trump that the grassroots is making, even though Kamala Harris has decided to be above it all. But door to door, there are still arguments against Trump that have to be made.
So, David, just because you're an expert on Pennsylvania, give me your top 2 counties that you're going to be keeping an eye on tomorrow, just to see what the margins are. Like, what are you really going to be looking at?
Yeah, Jake, look, Philadelphia County's got to be one of the top you look at, right? Because that's where this race is going to be won or lost in terms of numbers. I look at Obama's 08 numbers. I look at Biden's numbers in 20. Huge numbers. Biden outpaced Obama, got more raw votes. And the Harris campaign needs huge numbers out of the city, their net numbers. I think Bob Brady, the chairman of the Democratic Party, says if we don't get like 500,000 net votes, they're not going to win. And that's just factually true. That's why Kamala Harris is going to all these other places in the state today, because she realizes she's going to have to make that up. You can answer me this question, Jake. Is Kamala Harris more popular than Barack Obama was in 08? Is she more popular than Joe Biden was in 20? Philadelphia's own son, kind of Scranton Joe? I don't think so. So they're going to have to get big numbers out of Philly. So I'd look at Philly, then I'd look at the other end of the state. Let's look up in Erie County, always the bellwether, right? So those are the 2 I'm paying close attention to.
So I'll just to answer your question. She doesn't have to be more popular than Obama. She just has to be more popular than Trump.
Well,
and one person you skipped over that. Hillary Clinton actually did better in Philly than Joe Biden did because of all the in Philly, because of all the erosion in the suburbs. Okay, Van, what state are you going to be looking at tomorrow, Van?
I'm going to be looking at 3 states tomorrow. Pennsylvania, and then Pennsylvania, and then after that, Pennsylvania.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the love. We do.
Yeah, it's the whole ball game. Almost impossible for either one of them to win if they, 19 electoral votes. That's a massive chunk of the available votes. And I agree with David. Look, Philadelphia is so important for us, but the overall, not just on this one, the overall vote totals have been going down, down, down in Philadelphia. And so we're fighting gravity in Philadelphia, not just Donald Trump, but people like Pastor Carl Day on the ground with his forces trying to make it happen in Philadelphia.
So, and Jake, real quickly, too, in the Philly suburbs, right, Biden wants 72% of the Jewish vote. I don't think she's going to get 72% of the Jewish vote. Just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
It's tough.
We'll see. We will see. Both of you get some rest, because we're going to be using you a lot tomorrow, I'm sure. David Urban, Van Jones, thanks for both your appearances today.